the Waqf Amendment Bill 2024, has become a lightning rod for controversy in India's political landscape. This bill, which proposes significant changes to the management and administration of Waqf properties, has ignited fierce debate and sparked accusations of political maneuvering. At the heart of the storm lies the recent approval of the bill by the Joint Parliamentary Committee, a development that has further inflamed tensions between the ruling party and the opposition. The bill's journey through the legislative process has been fraught with contention, with the opposition alleging irregularities and a lack of transparency. The stage is now set for a showdown in Parliament, where the bill's fate hangs in the balance. As the nation awaits the final act in this legislative drama, it is crucial to dissect the key issues at stake and understand the potential ramifications of the Waqf Amendment Bill. The outcome of this bill will have far-reaching consequences for the administration of Waqf properties, impacting the lives of millions of Indians. The Joint Parliamentary Committee, tasked with scrutinizing the Waqf Amendment Bill, delivered its verdict on January 27, 2025, recommending the bill's passage with amendments. This decision, however, was met with a chorus of disapproval from opposition members who accused the JPC of bias and a lack of due diligence. The JPC, chaired by Jagdambika Pal, a member of the ruling party, approved 14 amendments proposed by the BJP while rejecting over 400 amendments put forth by the opposition. This lopsided outcome has fueled accusations that the JPC acted as a mere rubber stamp, facilitating the ruling party's agenda rather than engaging in a comprehensive and impartial review of the bill. The opposition's discontent stems from their belief that the JPC's process was fundamentally flawed, lacking the necessary transparency and inclusivity to warrant public trust. The opposition has launched a scathing attack on the JPC's handling of the Waqf Amendment Bill, alleging a deliberate attempt to stifle dissent and railroad the legislation through the committee. At the forefront of their criticism is JPC Chairman Jagdambika Pal, who stands accused of using his position to suppress opposition voices and curtail meaningful debate. Opposition members have pointed to several procedural irregularities that they claim demonstrate the JPC's disregard for democratic norms. These include the chairman's alleged refusal to allow a clause-by-clause discussion of the bill, the arbitrary rejection of opposition amendments without proper consideration, and the lack of transparency surrounding the JPC's deliberations. Furthermore, the opposition has raised concerns about the JPC's composition, arguing that the over-representation of ruling party members created an inherent bias that undermined the committee's ability to function as an impartial arbiter. The Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 proposes a series of sweeping changes to the existing legal framework governing Waqf properties in India. The bill, comprising 44 amendments, seeks to alter the powers and functions of the Waqf Board, a body responsible for the management and administration of Waqf properties. One of the most contentious amendments pertains to the designation of Waqf properties. The bill proposes to empower district magistrates or designated state government officers to determine the Waqf status of properties, a move that has raised concerns about potential encroachment on the Waqf Board's autonomy. Another key amendment mandates the verification of property claims, a provision seen by critics as a means to target and potentially seize Waqf properties under the guise of scrutiny. The bill also proposes changes to the composition of the Apex Waqf Council, including provisions for the inclusion of women and non-Muslims. While presented as a measure to enhance representation, critics view this as a veiled attempt to dilute the Muslim character of the Waqf Board. Section 5. Voices of dissent. Stakeholders raise concerns. The Waqf Amendment Bill has drawn sharp criticism not only from opposition parties but also from various stakeholder groups representing the Muslim community. Religious leaders, legal experts, and civil society organizations have voiced their concerns about the bill's potential to infringe upon the religious freedom of Muslims and erode the autonomy of Waqf institutions. One of the primary concerns raised by stakeholders is the bill's perceived attempt to undermine the Waqf Board's authority and bring Waqf properties under greater state control. They argue that empowering district magistrates to determine Waqf property status could lead to bureaucratic overreach and potential misuse. Stakeholders have also expressed apprehensions about the mandatory verification of property claims, fearing that it could be used as a pretext to target and seize Waqf properties based on flimsy evidence or political motivations. Section 6, a question of democracy, examining the opposition's claims. The opposition's allegations of an undemocratic process in the JPC's handling of the Waqf Amendment Bill raise critical questions about the integrity of India's legislative procedures. At the heart of their argument is the assertion that the JPC, instead of serving as a platform for impartial scrutiny and debate, was manipulated to ensure the passage of a contentious bill without adequate consideration of dissenting voices. The opposition's claims of procedural irregularities, if true, paint a concerning picture of a legislative process that has been compromised. The alleged suppression of dissent, the lack of transparency surrounding the JPC's deliberations, and the perceived bias in the committee's composition all point towards a potential erosion of democratic norms within the hallowed halls of Parliament. If the opposition's accusations are valid, they represent a dangerous precedent and a threat to the very foundations of India's democracy. A robust democracy thrives on the principles of transparency, accountability, and inclusivity. Principles that seem to have been disregarded in the JPC's handling of the Waqf Amendment Bill. Section 7, the road ahead, Parliament's impending decision. With the JPC's recommendations now in hand, the Waqf Amendment Bill is set to enter the next stage of its legislative journey, a decisive vote in Parliament. The bill's fate now hangs in the balance, with the ruling party and the opposition bracing themselves for a high-stakes showdown that could have significant political ramifications. The opposition, despite its numerical disadvantage in Parliament, has vowed to fight tooth and nail against the bill, employing every parliamentary tactic at its disposal to stall its passage. They plan to submit dissent notes, demand a thorough debate, and rally public opinion against the bill, hoping to exert enough pressure to force the government into reconsidering its stance. The ruling party, however, appears determined to push the bill through Parliament, confident in its majority and undeterred by the opposition's protests. To Section 8, potential implications. Navigating the bill's impact. The Waqf Amendment Bill, should it become law, has the potential to reshape the landscape of Waqf property administration in India, with far-reaching consequences for the Muslim community and the secular fabric of the nation. The bill's proponents argue that it is necessary to streamline the management of Waqf properties, curb corruption, and ensure greater transparency and accountability. However, critics fear that the bill's true intent is to exert greater state control over Waqf properties, potentially leading to their encroachment and misuse. The bill's provisions, particularly those empowering district magistrates to determine Waqf property status and mandating the verification of property claims, have raised concerns about potential harassment, dispossession, and a further marginalization of the Muslim community. The bill's passage could also have broader implications for India's secular ethos. Critics argue that the bill is part of a larger pattern of targeting minority institutions and undermining their autonomy, thereby contributing to a climate of fear and insecurity amongst minorities. Section 9. Conclusion. A bill marred by controversy. The Waqf Amendment Bill stands as a stark reminder of the challenges that India faces in upholding democratic principles and safeguarding the rights of its minorities. The bill's journey from its inception to its impending presentation in Parliament has been marred by controversy, allegations of procedural irregularities, and accusations of a calculated attempt to undermine the autonomy of a minority institution. The opposition's staunch resistance, coupled with the concerns raised by various stakeholders, underscores the deep-seated anxieties surrounding the bill's potential impact. The bill's passage, if it comes to pass, could have far-reaching consequences, not only for the administration of Waqf properties, but also for the delicate fabric of India's secular democracy. As the nation awaits Parliament's verdict, one thing is certain. The Waqf Amendment Bill will continue to be a subject of intense debate and scrutiny, its legacy intertwined with the fundamental questions it raises about justice, equality, and the protection of minority rights in a diverse and vibrant democracy.